Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about color and mesh. So here's the mesh we made from an earlier video, and of course it's just a mesh. So we can create a standard surface, give it color, drop that on our object, and now it's that color, right? Just like always. In terms of the UVs, if we look at this and go to the UV editor, what happens for the UVs is basically each instance or each clone of that cube on the mesh points gets exactly the same UVs. And so if we wanted to see that, we could just use our little, let me hide this for a second, use our little test texture. So file, texture, font color into base color, and this, point it at an image. And we'll see that each of these kind of cubes is getting exactly the same UV file. All right, now there's other things we can do with this. So in Mesh, there's a node to vary the color of these instances, and that is called color. And so in our little menu here, add a color node. And the way the color node works is quite similar to the AI color jitter that we've looked at before, which is pretty fun, right? Now, when we go to render this, though, and I'm gonna use this Arnold render view instead of rendering over here because that's been very crashy for me. I'm gonna go open Arnold render view, render. It's not picking up all these colors. It's still giving me I'm gonna assign this. It's still giving me whatever I have from the shader, and the reason is we never connected the mesh colors to the shader, right? So there's mesh colors in the mesh, and there's a shader assigned to the object, but the two are not linked up. Okay, so to get this to work, we need to turn on a few things. So the way that Mesh is doing this is it's assigning colors to the verts of this object. It's assigning colors to these little points here. It's adding data to those. So first thing we need to do is get Mesh to broadcast those colors. And so to do that, we go in the repo node and we look for output attributes, and we want to make sure color per vertex is turned on, which it should be by default. The next place we need to go is to our shape node. Go to Arnold, and we also want to make sure export. So it's Mesh is exporting it to the mesh, and then the mesh is going to export it to Arnold. So we turn that on. Okay, and I have assigned the default standard surface to my object. That is not what I want. I want to assign Fern. Right, and I can check that. Pink. Great. Okay. So let's see. Mash has broadcast its information, and then the mesh has broadcast that to Arnold. And now we need that information called AI, and to get it, we use AI user data color. And instead of our pink, we're going to plug in this new AI user color data node. And then the name of the data, we find that over here. So if you go to color, it says color set name. That's the name of the color set applied to these verts. It can be anything you want as long as it matches. So I'm just going to grab that, paste it in here, increment and save, Arnold, and go. And now it works. Okay, so to recap, to jitter the color of the verts, to change the color of these instance objects, you can create a mash color node over here. Then you want to broadcast those colors. You need to check two spots to make sure that's happening. So color per vertex in the repro node. Also export vertex color in the shape node. Then you take that data and using an AI user color data node and telling it which data set you want, you plug that into whatever attribute you want. So it's a few steps there, but it's not too bad. All right.